think
Motion
so.
to approve.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second for approval of the minutes as they are. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Under old business, there is none. Under new business, we have a for 215 Raleigh Street Zone RM. This filed by Tyler Hockenberry with Down to Earth Barbershop. This is to establish a personal services use on-site and to request relief from the associated off-street parking requirements.
Yes, so the applicant is proposing to establish a personal services use, which is how a barbershop is classified in the zoning code, and to request relief from the associated off-street parking requirements. Property at 215 Riley Street is a 0.02 acre lot featuring a 3-story, 2,271 square foot structure, which was constructed circa 1900. Property is bounded by Riley Street to the north, Penn Street to the east, a small grocer's alley to the south, and the property at 213 Riley Street to the west. This semi-detached structure features elements of the Italianate and commercial architectural style. Character-defining features include the storefront facade on the first floor, the brick facade of the upper floors on the front elevation and the side elevation, the more modern additions on the rear of the building featuring a variety of facade materials and designs, the metal fire escape in the rear, and the decorative brickwork along the front and side cornices. There are 2 entrances on the front elevation. The first floor entryway is a full view metal door recessed deeply within an entrance alcove, and a second panel door to the right provides access to the residential units on the upper floors. Both are accessed by concrete steps with a metal railing. There are 3 additional entryways on the side elevation into the building additions at the rear of the property, which feature a variety of materials and designs. Fenestration also features windows in a variety of sizes and configurations. The front elevation features floor-to-ceiling plate glass storefront windows which wrap around to the side elevation. The second floor features 1/1 windows, and the third floor features 2/2 windows, with all being set within wooden sills and headers. The side elevation features 3 1/1 windows in the historic structure with double hung and plate glass windows in the more modern additions. Structure appears to be topped with flat rubber roofs. Although there have been modern additions and alterations to the rear of the property, and the front is differentiated through the storefront configuration, which existed as far back as September 2007, structure retains much of its original integrity as the end unit of a row of 4 buildings featuring the same design style and elements. The building does contribute to the historic and architectural character of the neighborhood. The Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be approved with the following conditions. If the applicant intends on installing signage beyond the window decals referenced in their application, or intends on any other exterior alterations, they will submit a certificate of appropriateness application and receive HARB approval. Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be approved for the following reasons. The property history provides justification for the proposed use as it has accommodated personal services uses in the past, which had the same off-street parking requirements, and those businesses did not have adverse impacts on the surrounding community. The proposal will reactivate the first floor of the property, which is specifically designed for commercial uses, with the business focused on serving a local clientele. The proposed relief request will enable the expansion of an existing business within the city, and the applicant has submitted a detailed business plan demonstrating that it will maintain and enhance the mixed-use nature of the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, staff. Could you state your name and address in relationship to the project?
Yes, my name is Tyler Hockenberry. My residential address 1206 North 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the said property. And I'm the owner of Down to Earth Barbershop.
Okay, you heard the staff report with the 1 addition. Are you acceptable with that condition? Yeah. Okay, did you want to add anything to the report?
Nope.
Okay. I know, Jeff, you sort of with the parking, you said, you know, because of previous businesses, it didn't seem to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you said that most of your clients would be probably from the neighborhood. I'm just thinking as the business grows, which I'm assuming your business will be thriving, and I think in your business plan, you expect like 10 clients a day to like 40 a week. I don't think you're gonna have 40 neighborhood people coming every week. So I'm thinking you're gonna have some clients that are not living in the neighborhood.
For sure. And
So where maybe they would park?
so another resource I have, I talked to the manager of Midtown Cinema. She gave me permission, I have her card, I can give it, she gave me permission to use that as overflow parking. I'm gonna try to keep it street parking as much as I can, but I do have permission to use that as overflow as well.
Okay.
The lot at Midtown Cinema.
And I do appreciate, one of my always concerns is contacting community, and I see you have a list here, so that was great. And I'm assuming they all agree with having that, your barber shop with parking and everything.
Yep. I've stopped at several of the local businesses along with local residents in the neighborhood. So.
Very good. That's the only questions I have so far, Commissioners. Commissioner McKenzie, any questions?
I guess the only question I would have is how many chairs or stations do you propose to have?
So I am going to have 2 to start, and then I'll scale up to a maximum of 4 in the shop.
Okay, yeah. No other questions, Joe?
Commissioner O'Toole?
Jeffrey, how much of a downward deviation were they asking for on the parking?
So I think relative to the previous use that was on site, which was an artisans and craft studio, it would be 2 additional parking spaces beyond that. And as I noted in the case report, there were personal services uses previously on site operating during the current zoning code. And so that whatever nonconforming aspect not having parking would have been continued from previous. But when they switched to a crafts and artisan studio, which is permitted by right, it kind of broke the chain of nonconforming uses. But as far as the off-street parking requirements, I believe it would just be 2 additional beyond what the artisans and crafts studio was.
How is he ever going to get this past the zoning hearing board?
What's that?
How is he ever going to get this past the zoning hearing board?
Well, I think the history of the site will, support the request.
Thanks. I hope so. For the pictures in here, it looks like you're already furnished. Have you opened for business yet or not?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Sometimes people start business and they come here after the fact.
Yeah, well, it's I haven't furnished it completely. It's about 60% furnished
All right.
right now. Yeah.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Commissioner Reed?
I have no questions.
Commissioner Mark?
I don't have any questions. I actually just want to state for the record that I am in favor of this project and its suggested use. I mean, as far back as I can remember, this property has been a personal services hair styling place. I think even when it was technically an artisan studio, there were hair things going on in there. I live not in the vicinity of this area. All that to say, to me, this is a rather low density use that's being applied for. It's perfectly applicable for something like Riley Street, which quite frankly, we are trying to see a more activated commercial development along that corridor. So I think the parking is a negligible concern. And I hope the zoning hearing board would agree with that.
May I add one more thing about the parking? Services will only last about 30 to 45 minutes, so that will be the time frame when people will be parking on the street. So it won't be like a long-term parking situation anyways.
Okay. Is that it? Ann? Is that it? Okay. Commissioner Jordan?
No questions. I just pretty much echo that same sentiment of reactivating the storefront and providing an opportunity for a business in the area that can walk to. So I'm in favor of it.
Okay. Joe?
No further questions.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public for or against this project? Okay, Senator, right. The commissioners, could I get a motion?
Motion to approve with condition?
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second for approval of this project. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, the second item on the agenda is a special exception application for 315 North Front Street, which is zoned riverfront. It's filed by Voting Jones with GWO LLC. Is to convert the existing office building into an 8-unit apartment building featuring 2 designated affordable units, and to request relief from the associated off-street parking requirements.
Yes, so the applicant is proposing to convert the existing office building at 315 North Front Street to an 8-unit apartment building featuring 6 one-bedroom units and 2 two-bedroom units, with 2 units designated as affordable units, and to request relief from the associated off-street parking requirements. Property at 315 North Front Street is a .12 acre lot featuring a 3 1/2 story 8,944 square foot structure, which was constructed in 1850. Property is bounded by the property at 317 North Front Street to the north, River Street to the east, Barber Street to the south, and North Front Street to the west. The semi-detached structure features elements of the federal architectural style. Character-defining features include the brick facade, the stone water table on the front facade, the ornate metal porch above the first floor of the front elevation, the shutters flanking windows at various locations around the building, the metal fire escape on the side elevation, the prominent cornice featuring brick bands and wooden dentils and end brackets, the 4th floor dormers and prominent chimneys, the brick wall enclosing the rear courtyard paved with bricks, and the detached two-story carriage house with a mansard roof. The main entrance features a large paneled door recessed within an arched paneled entryway and topped with a divided light sunburst transom and arched brick surround featuring a keystone. It is accessed by stone steps with metal railings. There are 5 other entrances in the principal building, including 2 on the upper floors accessible by the fire escape and 3 towards the rear of the building. All are wooden paneled doors, with those on the upper floors featuring transoms with paneled infills and those in the rear featuring simple transoms. The carriage house features 3 entryways, all of which are wooden paneled doors topped with wooden transoms. One of the doors features 2 half-view panes and 2 are topped with divided light transoms. 2 wooden paneled roll-up garage doors with windows, which are topped with a substantial wooden cornice front onto Barber Street. Fenestration around the principal building features wooden divided light windows in a regular pattern. Some of the windows feature metal grates, while others feature paneled or louvered shutters. There are 3 dormers on the 4th floor, with each featuring divided light windows with grates set within arched openings flanked by pilasters. The dormer cheeks are clad in asphalt shingles. The carriage house features 10 windows, most of which are the same wooden divided light windows in the principal building. All are set within arched brick surrounds. Front gable roof of the structure appears to be topped with asphalt shingles, which is reflected on the mansard roof of the carriage house in the rear. Most of the other additions are topped with flat rubber roofs, and the 1-story addition in the rear of the principal building features a standing seam metal roof. The building retains a significant amount of its architectural and historic integrity and features elements unique to the district and streetscape. As the end unit on a row of historic buildings along the city's premier waterfront corridor, all of which retain a significant degree of their original integrity, the building makes a significant and unique contribution to the historic and architectural character of the streetscape and neighborhood. The Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be approved with the following conditions. If granted zoning approval to move forward with the project as proposed, the applicant will file a land development plan for the development of 8 units as required by the municipality's planning code and receive approval from the city council. The applicant will also receive a certificate of qualification pursuant to Chapter 12-101 of Title 12 Affordable Housing certification prior to recording the land development plan with the Dauphin County Recorder of Deeds. The applicant must provide documentation confirming that the monthly parking passes in the River Street garage have been approved by standard parking. If any exterior alterations are proposed, the applicant will submit a certificate of appropriateness application and receive approval from HARB. And finally, the applicant will coordinate with the Department of Public Works to ensure that the account billing is updated to reflect the proposed change in use. Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be approved for the following reasons. The proposed project will adaptively reuse a vacant office building, bringing in historically and architecturally significant property into productive use, and in fact will reestablish a residential use on site. As opposed to other multifamily conversions in recent years, the applicant has been proactive in securing enough off-street parking to accommodate all residents of the development, obviating concerns expressed by nearby residents regarding the limited number of on-street spaces. And finally, the proposed reuse will add new residents to the neighborhood to activate the street on nights and weekends and grow a customer base to support local businesses.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Could you state your names and relationship to the project?
Yep.
And your
Good
address?
evening. Good evening. My name is Esh McCombie. I'm an attorney with McNeese, Wallace, and Nurick. And sitting to my right is Vernon Jones with GWO LLC, the applicant.
You can introduce yourself.
Yes, Vernon Jones, CEO at GWO LLC.
And your addresses?
Address is 224 Harris Street, Harrisburg, PA. Also, I have residence in New York and California.
100 Pine Street, Harrisburg.
Okay. You both heard the staff report, and with the conditions, are you acceptable of those conditions?
We are.
Okay, did you want to add anything to the report?
Just a little additional background. So our office is located 2 doors down from this building. Been driving by this vacant building for 2 years as I turn onto the alley to park. And so I'm personally looking forward to seeing some life there again, or at least have my fingers crossed for it. There will be 8 units. 2 of them are 2-bedroom. The remainder are 1-bedroom units. 2 of the units are affordable housing. One of them is ADA compliant with the ramp coming up from the ADA parking space in the courtyard. And then, as Jeff said, the remaining parking spaces are across over in the River Street garage. So we feel we meet all the requirements for the parking reduction. And as you know, there's not a whole lot of criteria for multifamily in the area, but we do think it's a great reuse for this property. And as Jeff said, we'll bring a little bit of life back to the neighborhood.
Okay. I don't have a specific question, but looking at the pictures, I was wondering, is this the courthouse courtyard in this
It
picture?
is.
Okay, that's where you're gonna have 2 parking spaces?
Correct. It's currently being used, or historically had been used, by the office use for parking as well.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Commissioners, that's the questions, all I have at this time. Commissioner McKenzie, any questions or concerns?
No, I think I will echo the solicitor's comment there that it will be nice to get the building back into a live mode. We have been, for full disclosure, I'm the next door neighbor to this property, and we have been consistently dealing with homeless people coming up the staircase on our roof, crossing over from that building, building houses inside the rear stairwells to the basement. We've had a real difficult time for the past several years, and having it back to life will be fabulous. I think I do appreciate that you are acknowledging the parking issue that we've all been dealing with here and over time, and I think so thank you for that. And nothing else.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Toole?
Jeffrey, there's no density issue here. I mean, the square footage for 8 units.
No, there are no density regulations for the Riverfront zoning district.
All right. 2 of them are designated affordable. Did you know if they're going to be 1 or 2 bedrooms for those, or don't you know that yet?
They'll be the 1-bedrooms, 2 of the 1-bedrooms.
All right. Yeah, I too drive by this probably almost every day. And until I saw these pictures, I didn't realize how dilapidated the property looks. I mean, the shutters falling off and the paint being chipped. And if Vern's your neighbor and he has no problems, I don't either, so I'm in favor.
We hope that he comes to the zoning hearing board hearing.
Nothing further.
Okay. Commissioner Reed?
No, Sean had my question, so I'm good.
Commissioner Merrick?
Jeffrey, along the affordable housing vein, what are the different criteria of relief that's afforded by going after the affordable housing certification?
So for the Riverfront District, it's mainly limited to the parking.
Okay.
It does not have the same sorts of density bonuses that that apply to the residential low density, residential medium density, and commercial neighborhood zoning districts.
Oh, okay, okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, I mean, I certainly echo my commissioner's comments, and, you know, this building used to be law offices, if I remember right, you know, before it was then vacant for a while, and so now we're kind of going back to more of a residential use, which it would originally would have been. I find what's interesting is that while this is technically zoned riverfront, we are very much in the downtown center district as well for this property, in which case if it were able to be sort of dual zoned, a downtown center doesn't even require parking relief at all. And, you know, given your location, I mean, again, it almost goes away. And the fact that you are at least going forward and working out some parking agreements with the River Street Garage is almost, it's very appreciated. It's going above and beyond, so appreciate that. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Commissioner Jordan?
Yes, just a couple questions. Looking at the plans, it looks like you're removing the existing elevator. Is that correct?
Yes.
Was there, I'm just curious, was there a particular reason?
Well, it's a very old elevator, very small,
Okay.
and I think it would be more of a liability than it would be an asset to the building.
And secondly, did you have in mind any particular like rental rate range as far as the affordable units are concerned?
So it would be based on the AMI, and based on the buildings that we have in the area. Our 2 bedrooms, we're renting for $1,450 for the 2 bedroom. For 1 bedrooms, we have a Section 8 tenant for $950. But it would be consistent with whatever the regulations are. But that's what we have now.
Gotcha. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Joe?
I only had one kind of random question. Everything looks great, but because it was something Joe asked, this is the parking in here? Was that what?
One area of the park.
One area, okay. Do there need to be any curb cuts or anything to make that?
No, it's already open.
Oh, okay.
Currently, they park 3 vehicles in there, or currently, when it was an office, they were parking 3 vehicles in there. We're gonna make one of the spaces ADA, so we'll only have 2 vehicles in, which makes getting in.
Gives you a little more room, okay. Great, thank you.
Is there anyone from the public for or against this project? If not, commissioners, can I get a motion?
I'll motion to approve with conditions.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second for approval of this project. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody left. Jeff, do you want me to go through this one since you requested a continuous?
Sure, absolutely, because I would imagine the applicant may feel differently,
Okay.
so.
All right. Item number 3, this is a special exception application for 1728 North Second Street, which is Zone RM. It's filed by the Gazenzia Foundation Incorporated to expand the existing supportive housing family. Its use from 8 to 12 to use for the 8 to 12 individuals, and to request relief from the associated off-street parking requirements.
Yeah, so the applicant is proposing to expand the existing supportive housing family use from 8 to 12 individuals and to request relief from the associated off-street parking requirements. The property at 1728 North 2nd Street is a .13 acre lot featuring a 3-story, 6,369 square foot structure, which was constructed circa 1900. Property is bounded by Kelker Street to the north, North 2nd Street to the east, the property at 1726 North 2nd Street to the south, and the property at 1721 North Front Street to the west. This detached structure features elements of a vernacular architectural style. Character-defining features include the stucco facade, the stacked block massing, the large wraparound porch on the front and side elevations, with a portion on the side having been enclosed, the prominent pediments over windows, the steep gabled roofs with ice stops, the prominent chimney, and the attached garage, which has been converted to office space. The main entrance features a wide wooden door with a full-view divided light pane, topped with a divided light transom featuring frosted glass. It is accessed by a large concrete porch with 2 sets of concrete stairs accessible from 2nd Street and Kelker Street. There appear to be 3 other entrances on the Kelker Street elevation, a half-view divided light wooden paneled door accessed by a small concrete porch and steps with metal railings, an access point recessed into the building, which is not visible from the public right-of-way, and a half-view divided light metal paneled door providing access to the converted garage at the rear of the property. Fenestration includes windows in a variety of sizes, shapes, and configurations. Many of the windows are double hung with divided light top sashes over single pane sashes. Some of the windows, such as the bay window on the side elevation, feature fully divided light windows, and there are other differentiations such as arch windows or stained glass windows as well. The gable roof of the structure and the dormer bay window roofs appear to be topped with asphalt shingles, but the front porch features a metal roof and the converted garage features a flat rubber roof. The building is an eclectic patchwork of styles and designs and is somewhat difficult to identify the time frame of alterations and thus determine whether they have achieved historic value in their own right. Although the design and style differ from most of the surrounding architecture, the building does reflect the diverse nature of the properties on its block and thus contributes somewhat to the character of the streetscape and neighborhood. The Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be continued for the following reasons. Planning Bureau believes that this submitted application is incomplete as it does not address the issues of more off-street parking relief being required than is requested, and of whether the property is operating as a supportive housing family use, and thus can be expanded without regard to the number of individuals on site. And the current request is complicated by the applicant's history of submitting similar proposals for this property and having such requests denied, withdrawn, or approved with conditions that are no longer being met. Without documentation addressing these issues, the Bureau does not believe the zoning hearing board can make a determination on expansion of the existing use.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Could you state your name, relationship to the project, and your address?
Yes, Sean Delaney from Stevens and Lee. I'm at 17 North 2nd Street, right across the street. I'm the land use attorney for the applicant, Gaudenzia Foundation.
Okay. You heard the staff report about the continuation and why. Do you accept that, or?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that it'd be a good idea if we could get together with planning staff and with Mr. Grover and talk through the application and the history. I am new to the property. Actually, there's one document that Jeff appended to his report that was actually helpful for me because I couldn't find it. I think that we can do good things here, but we need to get together and talk and all get on the same page. So I'm absolutely fine with the continuance. And my witness was coming from Norristown. I told him to stay home.
With that, I'll just go around and just see if there are any comments from the commissioners. Commissioner McKenzie?
Yeah, the key question I want to understand when you come back is where are they going to be? Because as I'm looking at this, I'm only coming up with 10 spaces in your plan that appear to be discrete bedrooms, you know, or is this a ward type thing, or is it individual bedrooms?
The city's regulations require 50 square feet per resident per sort of residential space. That's actually less stringent than the state, which requires 60 square feet. If you went by the 60 square feet metric, there you'd be able to have more people than we want in the building.
Right,
so it's not one person per bedroom.
That's what I was trying to understand, is this multi-beds in a, okay.
And that's how it's used now. Only the 2nd floor is used for residential purposes. The 3rd floor is vacant. So there are multiple people in each bedroom, 2 people.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner O'Toole?
I have nothing.
Commissioner Reed?
I just have a question. Are these short-term residents? I mean, do they stay for like a specific period of time, or they're going through a program?
They are going through a program. It all depends on the resident and how they're doing with the program. You know, it could be 6 months, it could be 18 months.
But 18 seems to be the max.
I actually don't know what the max is.
Okay.
But it's definitely not for a couple of weeks. I actually had an interesting phone call, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's the one that I dread, a neighbor called. So, our contact information's on the application, and we sent the notices to the neighbors. John Delaney, how can I help you? And they said they were the immediate next door neighbor to the south, so I cringed a little bit. And they were delightful. They said that the residents are great, and they like having them there because they're always there. They're on the porch. They actually kind of monitor the neighborhood. So usually I don't get calls from neighbors that are good.
Okay. Commissioner Merrick?
Yeah, I would echo Vern's comments and questions that, about the property. Part of me, then I guess what I would want to understand, what is the ultimate capacity that could be allotted in this building then? If the third floor is vacant, would there be plans to continue expansions?
Actually, I have to say that our request was not for 12. That was an old request. We requested to have as many as would be permitted under the ordinance. So
I'd be interested to know what that number would be.
I think it would be 21 to 22, but we don't want that many people there.
Wow.
But it's not 12.
Okay. And then my other question, just to clarify whether it's now or when you come back, the designation of supportive housing family, does that mean that children could be part of, like, what constitutes family then?
It's a group of people living
Just-
together in a domicile.
Okay, okay,
So it's a small f family.
okay, okay,
No consanguinity.
got it. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Jordan?
No questions, thanks.
Joe?
No questions.
There's no one here, well, in the public, the young lady, any, you for or against the project, but, okay. Commissioners, since it's a continuation, could I get a motion for?
Motion to continue.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's moved to second to continue this project to the, I guess, next meeting. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried.
Thank
And
you.
I would just, for the applicant, definitely get with Jeff and some of the recommendations from the commissioners, apply those, so, maybe in favor for you to get the project through.
Thank you. I have to say, I was an intern when I was in law school at Bosworth, Tintnell, Picola, and Wickersham at 317 North Front Street, and I drive by that building every day, and I'm glad someone's doing something with it, because it looks really bad.
And of course, the other history of that, I don't know if everybody realizes, that was renovated by the wife of the president of the Pennsylvania Railroad. That was his Harrisburg, and she installed she couldn't practice as an architect, she was a woman back in the day. So she focused on there's a turret and a glass tower inside, and that's that very small elevator, which I've ridden, and it's scary.
Thanks for that historical.
And the other piece of it is it is a designated proven site of the Underground Railroad. There was a tunnel between the front building and the back barn underneath the side of the parking lot.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's,
Wow.
You can actually walk into a portion of it underneath on both sides, but it's closed up years ago.
Very cool.
Very good. Other business, anything, Jeff?
Not right now. Nope.
Commissioners, anything for the good of the order? And anything to it? Anybody? Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
so moved.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.